Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and I welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys the first perspective on things and how we see them. And boy, oh boy, we have an episode for you guys here today that you definitely want to stick around for. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, the number one trending story in the NBA right now is the Kyrie Irving situation. And as a matter of fact, last night we had finished producing all of the content for the day. And then all of a sudden, I was just there relaxing. Then I saw on my phone a notification from Twitter. And it was from Adrian Wojnarowski that the Brooklyn Nets had decided to suspend Kyrie Irving. Something that just really, shook up all of us, especially us in sports media here. So I was like, okay, I have to comment on this. And immediately we went live for about 30 or 40 minutes where we discussed it and we kind of gave it our thoughts. Now, as that news broke, there were other sports media platforms out there talking about it. And one of them was The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. And I think they do a very good job. The two of them, I enjoy watching The Odd Couple a lot. And they themselves touched on it. And when it became Chris Broussard's turn to talk about it, he said something that I actually felt and something I touched on yesterday during that live, which was, I said, if Kyrie Irving is not careful, his days in the NBA may be numbered. So I was quite surprised to hear Chris Broussard pretty much say the same thing. So for those of you who missed the points that Chris Broussard and Rob Parker make, what we want to do is we want to play it for you now. And we want you guys to listen to it in its entirety. And then we're going to come back and react to it. So take a listen to what they had to say here.
Look, first of all, let me tell you, this is why I say that Kyrie isn't worth it. Because the book he put on his social media, From Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America, is, and I'm not dismissing, I've said it the last few days on this show, there are Black Jews. But this book in particular that he's in all this hot water for, Rob, it doesn't have a bibliography. It doesn't have historical footnotes.
Mike, where does this come from?
It fabricates a quote by Adolf Hitler
Misspelled.
And spells Adolf wrong. Like this, Kyrie, you went to Duke. I know it was only for a hot minute, but still, you're an intelligent guy. What are you? I think, Rob, his career, not this season, but is in jeopardy going forward, because if he doesn't come off this stance, I think this could be his last season in the NBA.
I don't think you're crazy. I don't, by even making that statement, because after a while, Chris, even when you're talented, you just said it. Is it worth it? If you're an owner, can I make a commitment? We joked about it. What did I say? Oh, he's not going to want to play because the balls are made in Japan or whatever. Like that's where we are now. He just can't stop. It's always something. After a while, you just go, no, we don't want that. What is it going to be? We don't know what it's going to be next.
Because as great as he is, and he's great, Rob, without LeBron James, he hasn't proven he helps you win big, right? Boston was better without him. Let's just keep it real. The Nets, whether injuries, the anti-vax situation, or other controversies, they haven't lived up to the billing in large part because of Kyrie. And so with all of that, if he was going to lead you to the championship, maybe you do it. I hope that's not the case, because as I said, he shouldn't lose his job for that. But I just think people aren't going to want to sign him because of it. And my thing is, Rob, no one is asking, to my knowledge, no one is asking Kyrie Irving to apologize for believing that African Americans are the biblical Jews. No one's asking him to apologize for believing that he is Semitic. No one's asking him to apologize for any of that. They're not asking him to apologize for promoting Black history. He made a strong statement today about racism in America, both historically and today. No one's asking him to apologize for any of that stuff. He admitted today that there were falsehoods in the book. There were things that were offensive to the Jewish community. His statement said he doesn't agree with everything in there. There's stuff in there that he doesn't line up with as far as his morals and principles. That's what people want you to apologize for. That's it. Right. So why? I mean, my point, Rob, is giving up your career potentially worth standing by things you yourself are saying are not true.
So you heard what they had to say, right? First of all, it sounds like Chris Broussard wants Kyrie to apologize, right? Because he's like, is it really worth it? That's the first question. The second thing is back to his overall point. It was the same point that I was making, which is this. If Kyrie is not careful, he may be out of the NBA, whether he believes it or not. And I'll tell you why. The number one reason that is true is not because they're going to throw him out of the league, is because of his current contract situation. Now, as y'all know, during the offseason, Kyrie Irving was actually seeking a contract extension, right? And once we heard that the Brooklyn Nets were not going to give him that extension, we heard news that he was trying to shop himself in different markets. And one of the markets that we heard that he could potentially land in was in LA with the Los Angeles Lakers. Ultimately, that did not work out. So he ended up exercising his player option. I believe he was on the last year of his deal. I think he was slated to earn about $37 million, if I'm not mistaken. So the understanding was, okay, he's going to play this last year of that contract, then, show he could be reliable, all of these different things, and then ultimately be able to pick up another max deal. But now, as the situation currently stands, Kyrie Irving is without a contract extension. And this is the angle I was coming from. So if this situation wasn't kind of dealt with properly, it would be plausible to think that there's a scenario in which at the end of this season, no team may want to offer him a deal. Now, some people feel that is absolutely preposterous. That's a preposterous position to take. There's no way a player of that caliber, with that level of talent, is not going to get a deal. But as you heard Chris Broussard mention, he mentioned the same thing, right? He mentioned the same thing. Now, as we're producing the show, Kyrie Irving actually issued an official apology. Right, he issued an official apology, and he was very, very contrite in his statements. I'm just looking for it. I'm not sure if I can find it. I'm not sure, but I'm sure a good of you have probably seen it already. But he has apologized, right? And that was something that a lot of people wanted him to do. He said, I think he posted this, if I'm not mistaken. He posted his apology on on Instagram. I think he says something to the effect of, I am deeply sorry to have caused you pain. He went on to say some other things. He said we were yes, he went on to say a few other things about how he's sorry and all of that. And I think it was the apology that most people were waiting for, right? Most people wanted him to just come out there and unequivocally give an apology where he said he's sorry and he didn't mean to say it. And Kyrie has done that. Now, as we currently speak, Kyrie Irving is going to be serving a 5-game suspension, right? A 5-game suspension without pay. So he will not be paid. And some people believe that he may not return to the team after the season. And some people actually believe that they may actually trade him before the season is over. So there's a lot of things to consider here. But really what I want us to focus on in this particular show is the comments that Chris Broussard made, right? Which is, he thinks that if Kyrie Irving is not careful, he could be out of the NBA. And actually, we have the apology here on Instagram. It says, while doing some research on YHWH, I posted a documentary that contains some false anti-Semitic statements, narratives, and language that were untrue and offensive to the Jewish race, religion. I take full accountability and responsibility for my actions. I'm grateful to have had a big platform to share knowledge. I want to move forward by having an open dialogue to learn more and grow from this. To all the Jewish families and communities that are hurt and affected from my posts, I am deeply sorry to have caused you pain, and I apologize. I initially reacted out of emotion to be unjustly labeled anti-Semitic instead of focusing on the healing process of my Jewish brothers and sisters that were hurt from the hateful remarks made in the documentary. I want to clarify any confusion on where I stand fighting against anti-Semitism by apologizing for posting the documentary without context and factual explanation outlining the specific beliefs in the documentary I agreed with and disagreed with. I have no intention to disrespect any Jewish cultural history regarding the Holocaust or perpetuate any hate. I am learning from this unfortunate event and hope we find understanding between all of us. I am no different than any other human being. I am a seeker of truth and knowledge, and I know who I am. Kyrie. So Kyrie, there it is. You heard the apology. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about what Chris Broussard had to say? What do you think about what I had to say? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next one. Peace.